guys, it's Ahmer here, and boy did I have quite the experience when I went out to Michigan to the Detroit Retro Video Game Show. That was such an amazing video game convention, and of course I had to score some Super Nintendo games. So before we jump into it, remember last week when I bought Capcom's MVP Football and I thought I had 473 games? Well, this was actually a duplicate game. So just like that time that I bought a second copy of Bubsy, I bought a second copy of Capcom's MVP Football. I need the Capcom soccer game, not this football game. But anyway, we'll just go ahead and subtract that. But I did find some amazing Super Nintendo games at this awesome video game convention. So if you are ever in or around the Detroit area, this is a show where they put on a couple shows a year, and I just can't wait till what happens in the future. They had such an amazing time at this convention. They were having raffles. They had a whole arcade area where there were tons of video games that you could play, tons of arcade machines, and they had some great vendors there where I just had a blast, and I picked up some amazing items that I can't wait to show you guys in a later video. But we'll just jump into some of the Super Nintendo games that I added. So, of course, I had to add some more fighting games. We have Fatal Fury 2. This is one that I did not have in the collection, surprisingly. Now, these aren't like the most expensive games, but they're not just a few dollars. So this one is a fighting game. So I love how in these Fatal Fury games, they're most known for like fighting in the foreground and the background. And this whole fighting strategy that you have to go through with the different moves, they can just really bring you from like one plane to the next. This is really cool and a lot of fun. I love the characters in this game, and I love how in the other one, I think it's like special, you have even more characters, but this one is so great looking on the Super Nintendo. The graphics are fantastic, and this is just a fighting franchise that I absolutely love to this day. So pretty much any of them are a great time. But this is a game that's pretty inexpensive enough where you could still have a blast playing it. And then on to this one, we have Super Alfred Chicken. So this is another one of those mascot platformers. And I love how on the back here, it even says like $59.95. So that's pretty crazy that maybe back in the day someone would have bought this game for that much. Because this is like your generic, mascot platformers. But it does have some fun to it, because the puzzles are pretty entertaining, and you have like these whole ceilings that are collapsing, these bright colors throughout the game. You have different enemies, so that's really cool to see different creatures and things like that. And you just get to go through like one area to the next. So that's pretty much the premise of like all of these games. So this one's a pretty interesting one that I had known like nothing about, but apparently over in the UK they did get some of these games. And even there was one, I think, on like the Game Boy Color over there. So that's pretty neat to know that someone out there was playing these whole like mascotting, platformers here. And Super Alfred Chicken was popular among that, but not really so much over here. So if you are enjoying this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification, because you don't want to miss out on any of these update videos. And then these games always get me. We have Mario's Time Machine. So you think that you're playing this whole Mario game or like Super Mario Brothers, but these are those educational video games. So of course, something happens and Bowser travels through time, steals all these artifacts, and you have to work your way talking to people, trading items, and trying to get these like historical items back. So this is a pretty entertaining game if you're a much younger age, and maybe if it was in a time, when this came out where there wasn't really too much related to education and like video games and things like that were well known. So you would of course see a Mario title, at least your parents would, and they would just assume that, you would enjoy this as a kid. But this one just really is not that fun, especially today. But maybe back in the day you might have had a blast playing it if you were into like these video games and you were just trying to have something that might have been a little bit educational or fun back then. But I would say that some of the good old classic Mario games are definitely the way to go. And then on to this game. This is one that I'd love to explore a little bit more. So we have Wanderers from Ys 3. So this game was not extremely expensive. I've heard people compare the price to like Lagoon, but this is the way better option, as the music is fantastic in this game. So you have to take your time with this game. Of course, it's an action RPG, and you have to like go through and grind at the very beginning. So it does have kind of like this whole slow start, especially if you want to get anywhere in the game. But other than that, I've heard that it can be a little bit challenging, a little bit difficult. But I'm definitely interested to see how this one plays as opposed to some of the others. But of course, this is like the third one, and some of the others were, of course, on other, systems. So this one is the first on the Super Nintendo, and just one that a lot of people might have got into, especially I've seen it compared to some of like the Zelda games. So that's definitely interesting to note as well. But these were some great Super Nintendo games at this video game convention, and that's not all, because not only did they have Super Nintendo, I was able to score tons of GameCube games that I can't wait to share. I got some amazing deals, and I even got some great items for my Traveling the World series. But other than that, they had tons of toys and things like that. So I actually picked up this like little Homer beanbag. I believe that this is from like 2007, it says. So this is just a neat little shelf filler for my collection. I think I only paid like $1 or something for it. So you definitely can't beat that. When you go to these game conventions, they have a little bit more to offer. They don't just have certain new games. They have a mix of old games. They have a mix of toys. They have different vendors. Some people, it was like their first time vending, and they really had some great deals, especially on those Super Nintendo games. You have like toy stores, different video game stores, and other people who just travel around and like to, set up. But then you have people who make crafts. So like this whole bottle opener, it even says game over. And this is like a whole wood burning thing that they do. So that's really neat. And not only do they make those type of crafts, you can get crafts for like anyone. So they have these little Debbie earrings. I thought that those are pretty neat. And then they even had these like little Pac-Man earrings. So it's just really cool to see what type of like creative things that people actually do. And then some hearts. So like those video game hearts, they had some more earrings. So not only can you get all of that cool stuff at these video game conventions, you just get to see what those areas have, what's a little bit different than your particular areas. And like these Super Nintendo games, getting amazing deals, seeing games cheaper than your own area, just having a blast shopping and, chatting with everyone, getting to know more people, seeing the different YouTubers and special guests, that they have at these places. They even had someone dressed up as Bowser. So that was really cool because you could take photos and everything else. So I just can't wait to see what this convention has in years to come. And just catching up with some of my friends, like BD's Retro Mods. You get to see all of these awesome modded controllers. That's always a blast to see, because you don't want to keep using some of these like retro controllers that aren't up to date with the newest technology. And if you don't want to ruin your controllers like the Vectrex and some of the other ones that can be a bit hard to find and pricey, you get to purchase some that work on the system, that do extremely well and are super comfortable. So I can't wait to work out some deals with him in the future. So let me know in the comments below which games you enjoyed from this list here. So even though I bought that Capcom's football game already, we'll have to bring it back to 472. And now with these 4 games, we're at 476. So I can't wait to see what happens next time. And when you go to these areas, make sure you check out the surrounding antique stores, thrift stores, because I found this R.L. Stine Goosebumps Collectibles Toys R Us sticker on there, $12, brand new, sealed, and of course you have Slappy the Dummy. So this is a really cool like little display piece, never been opened, brand new. You press this button, it makes like a scream and glow. It's pretty cool, pretty weird. And you never know what you might find in these areas. So make sure you check out all of the surrounding areas as well. And of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out all of my other videos and stay tuned for more.